This is Retro Impressions Stellar Assault Series Review. In February of 1998, Stellar Assault SS released exclusively for the Sega Saturn in Japan. It was developed by Sims as a joint venture between Sega and Sanritsu, with Sega retaining control of the company during the period in which this game was developed. A large portion of the original development team was brought on board for this project, including the original design team, director, and the original game's creator. This is a fairly obscure game even in Japan, so you won't find much about it online. I had high hopes coming into this that I would be able to hire someone to translate the manual and in-game story, as it hasn't been done, but little did I realize how huge an undertaking it would be, as there is easily over an hour's worth of dialogue here. Thankfully, even though the story is a major focus of this game and it's only in Japanese, it doesn't really affect the enjoyment or playability. In fact, it's still possible to have a general idea of what's going on, thanks in part to the cutscenes used to tell the story and every bit of text being in English. While that might seem small, it's actually a deal maker, because that also includes the menus, making this game 100% accessible and playable even if the story isn't. With that said, it's a bit hard to give this game the proper attention it deserves due to the language barrier. The voice work sounds great, and it should, as some top Japanese voice talents play significant roles.
名誉ある東軍初の実戦行動だ。行くぞ。
ミッションエリア座標確認。ジャンプ後方に移行。
They even got the voice actor who played Data on the Japanese TNG.
クリンゴンの基地を守るために命がけで戦い全滅してしまったとなれば。
Now that's cool. The audio work in this game is really well done, as is the music, giving the sequel a marked improvement over its predecessor. This game is strictly displayed in a widescreen mode, making it one of the first on any system to do so. With the right setup, you can easily fill your 4K TV with an incredibly crisp picture. Looking through the option menu, the ability to change your ship's color along with the object viewer have been removed. There are a couple new additions, though nothing worth mentioning at this time. At its core, it's a true sequel, keeping everything that was great about the first game while expanding upon the things that could use improvement. Things such as offering a larger variety of level design and mission types, while leaving be the things that might ruin the experience by trying something new and innovative, such as messing with how the ships control and feel. One improvement over the original is the Saturn's controller. With the addition of the shoulder buttons, it just feels better suited for these kind of games, making everything feel a bit more fluid. It's also compatible with the 3D control pad if that's your thing. Let's get right down to the nitty-gritty and discuss some of the differences regarding the pre-game experience and ships. Gone is the full autopilot mode, eliminating the on-rails option from the first game. Also, you can't play in 2-player mode if you select Feather 1. There is also a slight change in each ship's energy consumption rate. Both have been adjusted, though it's a bit more noticeable when flying Feather 1. I imagine this adjustment was made due in part to Feather 2 no longer requiring you to complete the entire game with only one tank of energy. No matter what ship you're in, you will now start each mission fully restored. Some other notable changes are the inclusion of at least 2 endings and the removal of the third-person perspective. According to the in-game button mapping screen, it's in the game, but I couldn't get it to work. Everything else remains essentially the same when it comes to the ships you have access to and their capabilities. As we head into the game, it's clear that the enemy from the 32X release has returned. I remember reading somewhere that it's a bi-yearly problem that these people have, so it would make sense that we are once again in this situation. Thankfully, you don't seem to be caught off guard this time and have an actual squadron to accompany you from mission to mission, making for a very similar yet satisfyingly different experience when compared to the first game. The atmosphere is fantastic, with a large variation of mission types and locations. There are 17 in total. The first few missions have us battling large squadrons of enemy fighters and encountering a fully operational Excelgate. From there, we encounter more capital ships and find our way inside an asteroid where we are tasked with destroying some large device. Mission 6 takes place just above the atmospheric layer of a planet and ends with one of your team members losing control of their craft, with it heading towards the planet. This leads to a really cool rescue mission that might frustrate some players, but I found to be extremely satisfying to accomplish. The reward is Mission 8, one of the coolest in the game. You start above the clouds but can break through them to reveal the surface of the planet. It's breathtaking and unexpected. There are a couple missile silos that you're tasked with destroying, but unfortunately they will fire missiles, moving you into a timed mission where you need to shoot them down before they detonate. From a planet full of water, we head to one without an atmosphere and a huge tower that needs to come down. This also might be the most confusing mission in the game. Once the tower's down, it's time to head underground via a tunnel that requires precision maneuvering to enter. You'll exit this tunnel into a large room and need to take down another suspended tower and then travel back the way you came. Here lies the problem. There's a door blocking the exit, and I'm sure if you understood Japanese, it's explained via the dialogue, but I don't. So it required a ton of trial and error to figure out you need to be using your speed boost to break through. A few more missions dealing with large capital ships and their squadrons gives way to an encounter with a familiar foe. It's the final enemy from the original game, the Sun Laser. Unlike the 32X release, this isn't timed, and is essentially the same mission but with much more aggressive enemy fighters who are more than happy to give their lives in an effort to stop you by sending their craft crashing into yours. After it's destroyed, an enemy fighter kills one of your squad members and seriously damages your ship, leaving you with very little shields and a dogfight on your hand. This is the most aggressive ship you're going to encounter the whole game. The final mission takes you to the heart of the enemy operation. There are a ton of tunnels to navigate, radar jamming devices to take out, and huge spaces to explore. There is an energy core at the center that needs to be destroyed, then get the heck out as another timer's running and you need to be out of there before it blows up. Once you're out, you're treated to an awesome sequence where you see your ship leave what is now revealed to be a planet-sized spherical ship that will soon explode. And that's game. This here is an incredible experience to play, giving the player a full roller coaster ride that just begs to be played, level after level, making it truly unfortunate that it's nearly impossible to find. So let's go over some common complaints. There are a few small issues I have with this game, the largest being that only a portion of the cutscenes are skippable. It's an issue on any playthrough as they easily add 20 to 30 minutes to the game that you're forced to endure. One saving grace is an option called Scenario that's hidden away under the sound menu. This option allows you to reduce the story elements on a percentage basis. While I'm not exactly sure the difference between what each percentage offers, one thing's for sure, if you turn it to off, you will bypass all mission briefings and in-game dialogue. I was able to find a bit of discussion with people talking about this game. The general consensus is that it's well liked, but that the tight tunnels and corridors are unfair. Personally, I feel the controls are spot on and allow for precision movement. This means most issues users will encounter will be entirely self-inflicted, either due to being unfamiliar with the level, or by being reckless with the choices they make. In the end, Stellar Assault is a game you need to own if you own a 32X or Saturn. The 32X version is an extremely fun and well-made game that excels at everything it set out to accomplish, while the Saturn release takes the formula and builds upon it in all the right ways, giving us another must-play game. I love how the 32X makes use of the flat-shaded polygons and creates a story where it's you alone against huge fleets of invading ships, while in the Saturn sequel we got textured polygons that still look great today, something that is seldom true when talking about early textured graphics. Also, the decision to place you in a squadron, along with the chatter between your teammates, makes this game feel alive. Both games are great, and while it's hard to recommend one version over the other due to how well they complement each other, the Saturn release is my preferred game and without a doubt one of the best 3D space combat simulators of the 5th generation. That's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Feel free to leave a positive or negative comment letting me know your thoughts. If you would like to chat or keep up to date on channel related news, follow me on Twitter at Jenovi. And until next time, you've been watching Retro Impressions.